We are continuing our ranking of the MCU movies throughout the month of July. This is Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I am Brody, joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey!
And the Rocket Raccoon of these Guardians, Charlie Hickman.
Come on. That's the nicest one you've ever given me.
I know you just watched Guardians 3, so
man, it's so
fresh in your mind.
It's so fresh. I might actually start just crying as we talk about it.
Oh, it wasn't that sad. All right.
Well,
if you like what you hear and you want more of us, we do have a Patreon where you can get exclusive content about topics that you won't hear on this channel. For example, we just had a giant debate about Batman, so go over and listen to that. You can find more information about that in the description below. And if you haven't already, we'd love it if you subscribed and hit that notification bell so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun, because oodalolly, golly, what a day, these rankings all throughout July. Okay. We did our rankings in the buckets, and then we did our rankings of the lowest bucket. So the first 8, and now we're doing the lower middle bucket.
Our middle
bucket. How are you guys feeling? You guys ready for this? We ready for Charlie? I believe, Charlie, you said we'd have some friendly debates. What did you say? Some friendly disagreements? Lively disagreements?
The lively, friendly, but polite. Probably not polite, actually. Look, I disagreed on some of the placements of some of these in the buckets that they're currently in. So I'm ready to go to battle for my movies here.
Nice.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, well let's head on over to the current standings. Okay, so we have the tier maker that we put together, where we just dropped in all these buckets, and we're going bucket by bucket. So you can see down at the bottom, those are updated. Okay, that's locked in. That's the actual rankings going Ms. Marvel, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Love and Thunder, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Quantumania, Thor, The Dark World, and Eternals, with Eternals being at the bottom. So now we're going up a bucket, and now we are going to be ranking Iron Man 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Doctor Strange, what is it? Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Iron Man 2. Charlie, you don't look happy right now. You're shaking your head.
This is such a good tier, and maybe it's just the labeling here. Maybe we need to come up with a more polite way to say lower middle. But I'm sure there's people that felt this way when they were looking at our bottom, which there's some good movies in there. This is a good, there's a lot of good movies here.
Yeah, there are.
Some of these margins are going to be razor thin. So.
Well, and that's the thing, is that these can be good movies. There's just other movies that are better. It doesn't make these ones bad.
We'll see.
Better movies.
It makes them pretty bad.
No, it doesn't. Come now.
Mix them up.
Okay, so if you've never joined us for our rankings, we're going to shuffle these up. They're going to come out one at a time, and we're going to place them. And just like last week when I said I'm going to update those numbers so that they actually reflect the real placement that they will be in that top 33. So let's go ahead and do this, starting out with Iron Man 3.
This is top 4 for me, and I know that this is not one that everybody likes, and it's kind of like one of those line dividing movies. This is one of like there's some other ones, but this is one of the few like sequel films that is not just there to set up other films or to build the lore of the universe. Like it's just its own standalone flick, and so you can watch it. You don't have to know anything about multiverses or like what big baddie is coming at the end of which movies and building to which quantum bursts or this or that. You can just pop it on and enjoy the witty dialogue, a little grittier Tony Stark, and go and just enjoy the action. Ben Kingsley is very funny. A lot of people did not like the twist. I thought it was good. There's some CGI stuff that's some other things that are a little but which I think prevent it from being up higher. But I like this one. You guys hate it? Brody, you hate it.
I don't hate it.
Charlie, would you, if you were to put it in the top 4, would you say 18, 19, or 20?
Not 21. I don't get that.
I was thinking 21.
If it's those,
21 really?
I do 20 out of those three because there's a couple that I would put above that you guys probably won't want above, but that's right.
Okay, so Charlie, you asked me if I hated this. I don't hate this. I was one of the ones that was disappointed with the Mandarin reveal upon first viewing, but it has since grown on me, and I'm since cool with it, especially after Shang-Chi, where we get Trevor back, and I thought that Trevor in Shang-Chi was great. And then it's also kind of revealed / retconned that there's a different Mandarin and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, this is
Tony Stark's never gonna fight him.
And I go back and I watch this now knowing what I know now, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. As far as like Eldritch, what's Adrian? What's the real bad guy's name? The guy
Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce.
Eldritch. Guy Pearce. That I was kind of disappointed by him, honestly.
Well, you've never been a big Aldrich Killian fan ever since you and I were growing up reading comics together. You were always like, this guy sucks.
It's true.
And for some reason, you hate
Very
Don
biased.
Cheadle, who's
Very
a national treasure. I don't understand that.
I don't hate Don Cheadle. Why would you even say that? Okay.
I don't know, because he might be one of the most beloved actors of all time. So I'm just trying to throw you under the bus here.
I don't hate it. I think he's great.
So now you'll be kind of you'll push Iron Man up higher because you don't want people to believe me.
No, we got Iron Patriot, which is great.
Brody loves Don Cheadle. I'm just teasing.
We're saying 20.
Yeah.
Just drop him at 20 for now.
Just drop it at 20.
No, let's leave it 20. Yeah, 20's good.
Okay, next up, Wakanda Forever. This is an interesting.
It is.
This one's in my bottom 4.
Expand on that. Why?
Okay, so
Yeah.
So coming off of the T'Challa stuff, I thought that the T'Challa stuff was great. The rest of the stuff with the Atlanteans slash, they think they're called something else now. I thought they were kind of fine. I wasn't like super huge on them. I thought that Namor was an interesting addition, but I don't know. I'm not even sure how to put my finger on it of like what kind of disappointed me. I thought that Ironheart being included in I thought she was kind of shoehorned in because they had the show coming out. And so it was like, we got to get her introduced. And she was like, there was a point where she had to like solve something, and it was something that like nobody in the world could do, and like only Iron Man or not even Iron Man. And she like looked at it and did it in like 5 seconds. And it's like, okay, this character is too smart. Like you went like too far. And then she like made a whole suit of armor when it took Iron Man like a long time to build his arm. I don't know. There were parts of it that I liked, but there were parts of it that just kind of, I just wasn't crazy about.
Rhoda, I think what you're talking about is called, they turned Ironheart into kind of a Mary Sue, where she just is great at everything. Doesn't really matter what it is, and it doesn't make things very interesting.
Sure. So this would probably be for me like 23, 20, well, maybe 24.
I'm trying to phrase this the right way, and I think that a lot of the newer Marvel stuff suffers from like universe expansion, like this idea of trying to build towards other things at the sacrifice of like narrative. And somehow the stories end up feeling a little bloated at times. I think the pacing was left a little bit to be desired, and I think like there's like a sadness that hangs over this movie too. I mean, with the passing of Chadwick, there's no way around it. Like the Black Panther 2. And in some other version of our multiverse is like one of the is an amazing movie starring Chadwick, and we all get to experience that, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's just it's sad, it's heartbreaking that his passing, and it does kind of hang over the movie a little bit like a cloud when you're watching it, because you can't help but feel sad and also think about what could have been. But I think a lot of these movies, like I think Marvel's trying to do a little too much, and at the sacrifice of like really good storytelling. and just kind of putting extra things in, extra characters, extra lore, extra whatever, and it just kind of like it gets like a little convoluted and just I don't know, it just not as clean and concise of a narrative as it should be. I think there's some great acting in it. I think there's some great moments in it, but just as a whole, it just kind of felt maybe a little empty to me at times. It didn't work as well for me. Bottom 4.
I agree too.
What do we?
So would you say, Charlie? Would you say 23 or 24?
Let's put 23, I think, for now.
Yeah,
that works for me.
Drop 23 for now.
Just for now, bro.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I like this one. Yeah. I feel like I'm one of the few people that like this one. I really enjoyed the Ant-Man and the Wasp dynamic. I really liked eventually Lily getting her suit and all the things she was able to do with her suit. This did feel like more like that kind of heist movie with the, they were moving the building all around and just that type of fun stuff. They had ghosts, they had Goliath, the Goliath kind of Easter egg with Lawrence Fishburne in there, which I thought was cool. Also we had Walter Goggins. Like, he was great.
Oh yeah, Walter Goggins was great. I'll be honest, I did not care. I mean, it just seemed when they had it with like the Michelle Pfeiffer character was like taking over Scott's consciousness. I could have done without that. But I agree. I thought Walter Goggins was great. I thought Ghost was interesting, along with Lawrence Fishburne. I liked it. Hey, Luis and all the friends were still there. It still felt like a heist movie. Still felt like an Ant-Man movie.
There's a lot to like here. Walton Goggins is.
Is it Walton?
Yeah, Walton. It's fantastic. He's an elevator and everything that he does. He shows up and you're like, oh, it's gonna be good.
Definitely.
Look, the villain in this. Some of the extra storylines kind of like we lose, I think, a little bit of a tighter narrative through. Let's get some common themes here. The timing of this movie was weird after Infinity War. It just was kind of like it just kind of felt like it was like a throwaway movie. It's just kind of like, this is, I don't know, it was just weird. Like there was this and Captain Marvel both had just that kind of like odd squish them in here timing, like, and I feel like they could have maybe waited, and done it. But Evangeline Lilly was great. I thought more good than bad, but like I think it belongs in this tier. But I would put it below Iron Man 3 personally.
21,
22, 21.
We started at 21.
Difference between 21 and 22.
I'd say we started at 21, at least for now.
Okie doke. Next up, Iron Man 2. Okay, so I gotta be real honest. I was kind of surprised that this one wound up in our lower middle.
What do you think it would be at?
In my personal one, this is in the bottom. It's in like the bottom bucket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there's a couple in here that could have probably ended up in the bottom, but they didn't. So, I don't know. But 24, 25, I think is fine for this one.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff, but like Whiplash, I just wasn't crazy about Mickey Rourke's stuff. Even the Justin Hammer stuff was kind of And this was one of those ones like early on that you were like, this felt more like a world building movie where they were trying to set everything up, and they focused so much on that I thought the overall movie kind of suffered. So yeah, this one for me is 20.
Oh, let's put it at 24 because I don't think. I mean, like, there's other ones that I think are much worse than this one.
Yeah, leave that bottom spot open. Yeah, leave the bottom spot open.
Okay. Next we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is a weird one.
Good thing we left that bottom spot open.
Is this one your 25?
It might be. Talk about bloated and weird pacing and bad storytelling and bad CGI. Look, I will check myself here because I feel like I am harder on the newer stuff because my expectations were higher, and with each kind of passing film, I found myself getting a little bit more frustrated. And so this is one that I started and stopped multiple times watching it. It was just like something that I found myself like I sent you guys that the clip of like the woman in the background, even just like random stuff like that. The extra who's like, just I'm finding I'm like scouring I'm finding that stuff because I'm just not invested in it. I'm not into it, and so it's like this like the nitpicks bubble up, and like Iron Man 3 is not like some great movie, but I was entertained enough that all of its flaws were like they didn't jab me in like an irritating way. I don't know, but this one kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. I just didn't like it. It was a hard watch for me.
Interesting.
Talk me off my ledge.
Now wait before you get off that ledge. What exactly was it that made you switch it off and get frustrated?
The very first thing was like the opening CGI scene. I watched the first 5 minutes of it and I was like, this is so bad. Like, what year is this made in? Like, it is so bad. The CGI is so bad and looks so just like it's just like I don't know, like a throwback to like the 80s green screen, something like where they're driving in a car and it's like the same shot of like the rolling past. Like it had that kind of vibe to it. We've talked about the Kenneth Branagh, the whatever everybody said, the Perot, and like he's in Egypt, and they show like some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my whole life. And we had a whole conversation about like this. We'll fix it in post, or we'll just do it in post stuff on a previous podcast that I'm sure Brody would love to link to below. But like it just feels like sometimes they're just kind of like, yeah, we'll just do this with some special effects and it'll be great. What a great scene this will be, and then it's like, oh wow, actually. This looks terribly cheesy, like Blade 2, where it's like the people turn into like these stretchy video game Gumby like characters.
Yeah.
So like right away, instantly, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this movie before it's even started, before the movie's even had a chance to like give me narrative. I'm like, this is dumb and I don't like it. And that was kind of like, and then I watched it like through that lens. And so every little thing that bubbled up along the way was like, this irritates me. And you guys do this like I'm sure too, but like when something's like, when you're not into something, like you find the flaws. And it could be in people, it could be in food, it can be in whatever, like your studies, it can be in anything, but especially like in entertainment, like when you're like, this should be bringing me joy and it's not. So I'm willing to if you guys want this higher, I'm willing to concede this is probably a better movie than I'm giving it credit for, because the stuff that bothers me about this is real nitpicky. Like it's real like so you can this isn't just 25 for me. This would have been in my bottom tier.
Oh, so. Wow. See, I would put this above Wakanda Forever. I like this more than Wakanda Forever. I like my big nitpick
you love Sam Raimi
of this movie. I like Sam Raimi. I don't know that Sam Raimi was the right choice for this. And I kind of walked out of the movie being like, I don't know if he was he came in with his own style that I'm not sure quite fit Doctor Strange, especially after getting the first Doctor Strange. It felt like a big tone shift. But I liked the multiverse stuff. I didn't like America Chavez. She really bugged me the whole movie. And I still remember when they got poisoned by the tea, and she had like she was like, what's in that tea? And like and I laughed out loud in the theater, and it wasn't supposed to be a funny thing, but it wasn't even like a make fun of laugh. It was just like a, wow, that was really bad. But like, I liked the multiverse stuff. I liked seeing the Illuminati, and we got like a cool, we got Patrick Stewart, we got Black Bolt, we got, stuff like that. And maybe that's just kind of me geeking out about being able to see that stuff that kind of stands out to me. And so like, if I had to go back and rewatch these, I would rather watch this than I would than Wakanda Forever or Iron Man 2. So for me, I'm probably looking at like 22.
That's fair. What do you think of this one?
I would revisit this probably before I saw Wakanda Forever again. I will say America didn't bother me, but Scarlet Witch really, really, really bothered me. As soon as they introduced her, they turned her into a complete idiot. And I'm not talking about her really stupid, faltering accent, although that's really stupid too. she just was a character. And I'm not saying she's a stupid character. I'm saying that the character that they portrayed was in fact stupid. And it's so funny because in the beginning, as soon as she gets introduced in this movie, the very same scene, like not even 5 minutes, and Doctor Strange is just like, wow, I never told you what her name is. I was just like, Scarlet Witch, exactly how stupid are you? If you'd just shut your mouth, he would have brought her right to you. But no, you just have to screw it up all the time. P.S. I didn't care for her entire arc. Let me tell you, like, for some reason, she is completely against actually having kids. She could sit there and be like, hey, you know what I'm thinking? I'd like to, maybe I could get my vision back. And then he can like knock me up and I will produce 2 kids. Boom, problem solved. But instead, she's got to find them and they got to be a certain age and this and that. And I'm like, just have the kids. Just have the kids. Like, what is your problem? You can have them right now. Boom. Create vision again. Have him knock you up. And then, boom, your kids are there. She is making it seem like she wants her children, but she didn't go through any process of childbirth or childbirth, none of that stuff. She wants them to be at the right age when they'll finally listen to her, and that's what she's looking for because that's the easiest freaking thing she can do. This character in this movie completely disgusts me. She talked about her kids in every single scene, her imaginary friend kids, and she maybe brought up her, I guess we could say husband, even though they didn't get married, maybe once. Just once. I thought this character was...
It did kind of feel like they didn't watch WandaVision when they made this movie.
Honestly, I think he said that in interviews. He's like, I didn't watch that.
They should have gotten the director of WandaVision to do this because now he's coming back. Yeah. And I believe he's doing Fantastic Four. So I don't know. There could have been more continuity and but see, it is continuity because the character was stupid, and I mean stupid throughout the entire thing. She could have sat there and been like, you know what? Hey, Vision, I know you're kind of hurt right now, but maybe if we, I don't know, pooled our powers, we could kill Thanos right here. She thinks about this after she gets snapped away, like as far as she's concerned, 5 minutes later, and she's like, now I'm gonna kill you. And even then, she's like, let's draw this out a little bit. It's not like there's a big war going on all around us. There's nothing you can do. And he rains fire, and her stupid plan with her stupid powers fails just like that. So weak. She's supposed to be one of the strongest Avengers, and she's also the dumbest. I loved in Captain America Civil War, where she's all like, hey, I can move things with my mind, and Black Widow's like, yeah, but you're an idiot. You don't know anything about your powers. That's what she should have said. She's like, oh, you got to be trained for this. She should have been like, yeah, you're an idiot. And P.S., 5 minutes later, she showed us how stupid she is and blowing people up at random. And yet, Dylan, you're saying that you would put this above Wakanda Forever?
Yeah, you know what? Because,
where would you put this?
Benedict Cumberbatch. Wait. All I said was that I would revisit this before Wakanda Forever. That's all I said. And that's a bold statement because I really like Ryan Coogler and he directed Wakanda Forever.
So but would you put this? Charlie's saying 25, I'm saying 22. So
I'm starting to think 25 because the villain was just so
he
terrible.
talked himself into it. He got himself worked up and was like, really, you know what? I do hate this. Look, I thought they did a big disservice to the character of Wanda. And look, the one of the best parts of the TV show, they kind of set her up to be a villain, like with the freezing people in time thing is grotesque if you really think about it as like a real thing. Sure. But as like a narrative about grief, it was an engaging television show, and it set her up to be a complex villain, something that the MCU has really struggled to produce. So like a layered, very complex, with multiple motivations and mixed feelings, and just something that was like, like I thought they did a nice job, like and just not have it escalate into like nonsense and CGI ridiculousness. Like Black Panther, fantastic villain, and then it ends in like CGI nonsense. Like it just, like, they can't like stick the landing on any of these things. And this movie, just like, they felt like they kind of tossed a lot of like all that out and was just like, well, it was singular focus of like some, I don't know, it just felt a little ridiculous.
Just like to say, I completely disagree. When they, even in like the WandaVision, when I can't remember what her name is, but she was like, oh, these people who you have tortured for weeks, they don't know what you have given up. And I'm like, she gave up her imaginary friends. Are you kidding me? She didn't give anything up. You're
thinking too deeply on it, man. It's like think of it as an allegory of working through grief and just enjoy it for what it is.
Okay,
but put it in, Brody. You have all the power here. You want to move Iron Man 2 to 25?
Yeah, can we put Iron Man 2 to 25? I would totally put Multiverse of Madness above Iron Man 2. Oh, Dylan's not convinced.
No, I'm okay. You know what? Mickey Rourke really screwed it up.
I'm supposed to say something nice about each of these, so I will say Iron Man 2, Don Cheadle. Right? Good.
Yeah.
That was a good change. And then Multiverse of Madness. I like Benedict. I think he did a good Doctor Strange.
I did too. I liked how he was talking about how he really was the whole time. They're like, oh, you're not happy. He's like, oh, I'm all right. But I'm like, oh, I like that. I like the whole thing with the other Earth, that is Rachel McAdams. She didn't have really a lot to do in the first Doctor Strange, and I'm glad they gave her a little bit more to do. They got to give her even more. Like, where's she been?
Yeah, she's good. She should be in more stuff.
All right, moving on. Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Still surprised it went into this bracket. I'm still surprised. Now, is this 18?
19.
It should be, because you think it should be higher, right, Dylan? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Brody didn't like this one. So look, I think both, if it were up to me, probably both Guardians movies would be in the bracket above, but I got outvoted. So spoiler alert.
Sacrifices.
You might be guessing what my 18 and 19 are over here. Out of respect.
Are both Guardians in this bracket?
Yeah, you really kind of gave me the old middle finger with the Guardian stuff. And I gave you a hard time because you claim to like sci-fi, but you don't.
Oh, it is. Oh, weird.
Yeah.
No, because it's okay. So I'm looking at my own personal rankings, and Guardians Volume 2 in my own personal rankings is in the top middle. So
well, that's where I wanted it. So I'm not really sure how we got outvoted. No,
this
is not us, guys.
Oh, this is us all of a sudden now.
It's in my
now he's washed his hands.
And yet you argued and dragged it down here. It was not me who was advocating to lower these. Anyway, this was, I thought, okay, look, I think your criticism of this, Brody, is very valid. It felt like that maybe they just shouldn't have had a Gamora character in this, But it was fun seeing Zoe Saldana. I think she's great. I think she even with a kind of reset on the character, she was still really good in the movie. I like it was sad, man. It was poignant, and the whole time you're watching it, it kind of felt like that bittersweet feeling of graduating school or whatever, just like you're moving or something, like you just like these scrappy friends, and there was a mature more grown up Peter Quill, and you got to, I don't know, there's a lot to like, and I focused on my favorite Guardian, so I was happy. My namesake, Rocky. Brody, tell everyone why you hated this movie so much.
I didn't hate it. Hate it. Stop telling people I hate everything, Charlie.
Stop hating everything, and I will.
This is my least favorite Guardians because, kind of like what you just alluded to, and I talked about it in our sorting, is that I didn't like that the Gamora is this different Gamora. I really like the banded together Guardians of the Galaxy, and in this one, you just have Gamora who just hates this whole group. She doesn't want anything to do with Star-Lord, and yet she has to work with, and it was tough to watch because I really liked them being together, and I liked them as a group and as a family. And so this one, I just cared less about them because there was kind of this like split. It's just like, oh, this is clearly a very different person. And also like we don't have Yondu, right? I felt like we kind of got like we got less Drax because I think Dave Bautista's just like didn't really want to do that. I did like the rocket stuff. I thought that the High Evolutionary was like an interesting character to add in.
Rocket's also my favorite out of all of them. Like in the very first one, when he is going to like off on like Star-Lord saying like he's not getting any respect, I was getting choked up for him. I'm like, he really cares. His feelings were hurt.
We got Cosmo. Hey, my dog's name is Cosmo after Cosmo, so we got a Cosmo, and that's
dog is great. You hated the dog.
I actually did like that the whole movie with Cosmo was like just because Kraglin called her a bad dog, and the whole movie she's trying to like just get that back. Like, I'm not a bad dog. I'm not. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, see, you love dogs. Good.
So Charlie, where would you place this? 18 or 19?
My lowest. It's my lowest.
I'd probably put this at 19.
Really? Number 2?
Yeah. Yeah, I like number 2 more. I think that like just in terms of I think this is probably a better movie than Guardians of the Galaxy 2 on like just if I was thinking through it like if filmmaking wise. I think it's like the balance of like the poignant stuff that James Gunn is able to do with like the ridiculousness of it. Yeah, and this as much as I complain about the bad CGI stuff, like I think Rocket looks great and Groot looks great. Like it's great. The Guardian stuff, like I don't know, they make it look good. But I love 2, and that's the one that I would rewatch if I wanted something. Yeah, you can't beat Kurt Russell. Come on now.
All right, so next we have Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Now, this is a movie that I actually revisit probably more than I've revisited the first one. I actually like this. If you sit down and you actually watch it, I actually think it's a pretty good movie. I like this movie. It does do some character building. It does do world building. But I mean, it's an Avengers movie. Now, I will admit, it does get bogged down by the stupidity of the Scarlet Witch. But other than that, you've got Ultron, you've got Claw, you've got all these other all these other people. You start seeing the cracks in the Avengers getting ready for Civil War.
Yeah,
where would you guys put this?
I rewatched this somewhat recently as well, and I finished watching it. I was like, no, that's not as bad as like I remember kind of walking out of the theater, and maybe because I just kind of I was so annoyed with Joss Whedon because he didn't do the Avengers Assemble and that ending, like it just really bothered me. And I was like, oh, that stupid Joss Whedon. Like just
I knew he was going to do that. I'm like, of course, come on.
But like, yeah, it's a fun movie. I like Ultron.
Yeah.
I like, what they did with him. I like how that brought in Vision, and we got some really cool like action pieces of that opening fight in the castle. We got the Hulkbuster, like, which was awesome. Like Hulk versus Hulkbuster was great. Even that end fight was neat. We did get kind of the awkward like middle points with Hawkeye and his family. It's kind of like, oh, okay. And the random stuff of like, oh, Black Widow and Bruce Banner are an item, and it's like, since when? And like, why? Like,
and how?
And then it's like referenced once after that, and the sun's getting low, big guy. Which has just kind of become a joke, but so it's definitely not like
Thor say that. I love hearing him say that. The sun's getting low. He's like, stop saying that to me. I love that so much.
So you know what? I might actually put this at 21 and bump Ant-Man down.
Good. You know what? I was actually thinking this very, very same thing. Good idea. Charlie, what do you think?
I am comfortable with that. There are some things about this movie that drive me absolutely batty, but like you guys have done a nice job covering that. So I will say, as an aside, because I'm Mr. Positive today, and every day I'm going to be the Pollyanna of the MCU. James Spader. Come on.
Oh yeah.
He's great. Funny. And I will say that his episodes as the boss in The Office, underrated. Robert California.
I would love to see Ultron brought back. You know, I'd love to see him come back some way. You know, just
definitely.
So, although one thing that really bugged me was they killed the Hydra guy like off screen.
Yeah.
Really
Well, Ultron did it.
Yeah, Ultron did it, and they just like showed a cell.
Yeah. There was a few.
There was a couple things that I was like, I really don't like that, but then there was stuff that I was like, that was actually cool. Go to sleep. You know, it was great.
I love that.
Okay, and next up, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I mean, I think this is kind of an easy 18.
Yeah, easy.
It like I said, it's in my middle top tier, so I don't know how it wound up here. I don't know. Go back and watch our sorting episode and see why some of these wound up here, because we can't.
The reason why this ended up.
Put in the comments exactly how Bro put
I will tell you exactly. I know exactly how this happened, because Dylan was ranting about Jake Gyllenhaal, and he wanted Spider-Man No Way Home to be down here, not No Way Home,
far from home,
down here.
Yeah,
and so he's like, well, if you really want that in the upper middle tier, then I'm going to make it hurt. And so he's like, we're going to put Guardians down, and Brody was like, okay. That's how it happened, and that's a direct quote.
That's a direct quote.
It sounds like something I say. I mean,
all right.
It does sound like you, bro.
All right.
And I definitely, I don't know. Jeez.
Okay,
but we can talk more about Jake Gyllenhaal in our next episode.
There we go. Okay, how are we feeling about this? Are we good with any of this? Does anything need to change?
This looks good to me. Are you guys? I feel like did I strong arm you guys too much? Do you guys like Iron Man 3 above the Avengers? That's where I want it. But are you guys good with that?
No, I'm good with Iron Man 3 being above Avengers. While I enjoyed it more than I did walking out of the theater, I still think it's not the strongest of many of the movies.
All right, good. Then print it.
Oh, Dylan doesn't look convinced. I don't know. He just made a face.
I just didn't understand what you were saying, but then I got it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and read these out. So at number 25, we have Iron Man 2. At number 24, we have Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange. Number 23, Wakanda Forever. Number 22, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 21, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 20, Iron Man 3. Number 19, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and number 18, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. All right, well, make sure that you join us here next week as we will be doing number 10 through 17. And if you haven't watched already, make sure you go back and watch the previous episodes. Watch the sorting one, figure out why all these wound up the way they did, and then make sure you go back and you watch number 33 through 26 as well. All right, Charlie. Go ahead and close us out.
Well, if we were ranking and sorting people that watch podcasts, you would be top tier and, quite frankly, number one. So thank you for sticking with us, for joining us. And look, this is hard. Give us your rankings. Yeah. You know, each episode, sort them out. Give us your top 10, your all 33, whatever, however crazy you want to get with it. We love to hear, different opinions, and quite frankly, this lends itself well. This exercise lends itself well to different opinions. Lots of different ways you could go with it. So, thank you. We'll see you next time. Like and subscribe below the beard.
Bye.